Hello, this is Bob Anderson. I am the Director of International Education for Global International Schools. Many of you know me because I have taught classes at the school in Nashik on a number of occasions. This is the first video of a series on the 26 divine qualities from the Bhagavad Gita. Now, this class will be broken up into a number of videos because each one is going to be about 40 to 45 minutes. So please be aware of the time and set aside the proper time for when you are going to be listening to the class. Now, I'm going to be starting the class with a little bit of a history review of where these divine qualities came from, how they came about, and what are their significance or importance. So these 26 divine qualities came from the Bhagavad Gita, which means Song of God. Bhagavad is God, Gita is song. These qualities are part of the central chapters of the epic poem, the Mahabharata, which was written approximately 3000 BC or 5,000 years ago, long time. It is the longest poem in recorded history, being made up of over 100,000 verses. Truly an amazing piece of work. It was written by a man called Veda Vyasa. Now, his name is rather interesting also because Veda Vyasa means he who brought forth or chronicled the Vedas. These are the central scriptures of the Hindu faith, written by one man. And as many of you may know, there are 4 books in the Vedas: Rig Veda, Atharva Veda, Sama Veda, and Yajur Veda. So we can see that this Veda Vyasa was an incredibly brilliant and realized being, as well as an incredibly prolific writer. Now, the setting for the Bhagavad Gita, or the Mahabharata in general, was about a contest or a war between 2 factions, the Kauravas and the Pandavas, over the throne of a principality called Hastinapura. Each of these groups wanted to have their own people installed as king and rule the country. It was very prosperous and it had many resources. Now, the Pandavas the leaders were 5 brothers. And the main character in the Bhagavad Gita is one of the brothers called Prince Arjuna. He was a warrior prince, very renowned for his archery skills. And the Kauravas had an equally stellar group of individuals, Bhishma, Bhima, and great warriors and sages. Now, in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, the 2 armies are arrayed against each other on this huge battlefield called Kukshatriya. The Kauravas on one side, Pandavas on the other side, and a big stretch in the middle was vacant. Now, before the battle, back in those days, they set out the rules of battle, or what we would today call the rules of engagement, very carefully. Now, the 2 leaders came out to the center of the battlefield, and there was a 3rd person. His name was Krishna. Now, all of us know Lord Krishna as being an avatar, a representation of God on earth. However, Krishna was also a statesman, a king in his own land. And he was neither for the Pandavas nor the Kauravas initially. So in the middle of this battlefield, he said to the two leaders, one of you can have my army and one of you can have me, and choose. So Arjuna, wise as he was, chose Krishna, and therefore the Kauravas got Krishna's army, where the Pandavas got Krishna. Krishna, his job during the battle was to be the charioteer, or to drive the chariot for Arjuna in the battle. And as such, he would be able to give Arjuna good counsel during the course of the battle. Now, when we talk about the Bhagavad Gita, we say, what is the fundamental message of the Gita? Why was it worded as it was? And we'll find out in a moment, but let's start off with setting the stage for the reason why in the Gita was written as it was. The Gita was written with a focus on a couple of things. Doing your duty or doing your dharma, your allotted chores or task, without attachment to the results or without attachment to the fruits of action. This, as we will see, is very, very important, not only for 5,000 years ago, but for today as well. Now, it needs to be understood that we only have control of our action. We do not have control of the results, or we do not have control of the outcome. Now, we can, through proper planning, proper resources, etc., bring up the possibility that we will get the desired results, but they are not guaranteed. Many times in life, I'm sure all of us have seen that no matter what we have done, things take off in a direction we didn't anticipate. And if we are very much attached to these results, to the outcomes of actions, this brings suffering and confusion. It can be anger, depression, confusion. What could I have done better or more or different? So we need to cultivate the ability to be free from these habitual attachments, not only to the results of our actions, but to any part of life. The rule of thumb for living is the extent to our attachments is the same extent to which we suffer in life, because all things move and change. All things that come eventually will go, including our loved ones, possessions, money. Everything is in constant change, and we can never tell exactly where things are going to go. So here's a picture of Lord Krishna instructing Arjuna on the battlefield. In the background, you can see the chariot, rather ornate for a battle chariot, I would think. And in the background, you can see the elephants on one side and the foot soldiers on the other of the two armies. So Krishna was talking to Arjuna saying, these transcendental qualities to liberation, whereas demonic qualities make for bondage. Now do not worry, O son of Pandu, for you are born with divine qualities. Interesting, two things here to point out. Krishna made mention of two types of qualities, one being demonic, which leads to suffering and evil and bad actions and outcomes, and the other are divine qualities, which lead to freedom, liberation, and happiness in life. That's point one. Point two is, he said, O son of Pandu. Now this is important. Seemingly it might not be, but it is, because the other sons of Pandu were on the Kaurava side of the battle. meaning that Arjuna's cousins and uncles and teachers, gurus, were on the Kardava side as well as his own side. So Arjuna got the message. He said, oh my goodness, I can't do battle and kill my relatives. That's wrong. That's a bad thing. So he was torn between having to do battle for his people and doing battle against his relatives and killing them. So he was suspended between these two polar opposites, which is exactly the brilliance of that one little phrase of Lord Krishna. It was designed to, in effect, freeze Arjuna between aggression on one side, wanting to win the battle and kill all of his enemies, and recognizing that these people were his relatives, his friends, his teachers. So this prepared Arjuna to receive the teachings of Krishna that are exposed in the Bhagavad Gita. So we find these 26 divine qualities in chapter 16 of the Bhagavad Gita. You can look them up, verses 1 through 3. And then how do we prepare ourselves to fully live the 26 divine qualities? This means we must live consciously, not out of habit or instinct or simple knee-jerk reaction to situations. So we must live consciously, and we should perform spiritual practices. What this does is it helps to prepare the body and mind for greater energy, greater accomplishment by bringing both body and mind to a state of rest, deep rest, and great energy within. So meditation and spiritual practices help to clarify and steady the mind and calm the mind and body. When we have this situation, we are now prepared to go out and do external action because we have properly prepared ourselves internally. Now, as well as being a teacher of the Gita and various other business type courses, I'm also happen to be a teacher of meditation practices. I have taught meditation for almost 45 years now. And I was with my guru, my teacher, who we'll talk about shortly, under his direct guidance for 12 years until his passing in 1988. But so every class that we're going to have, we're going to start off with a few minutes of meditation, 5 to 8 minutes. Now, it says here in our little summary that we should do 10 to 15 minutes each day, every day. It should be done twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. Once in the morning before school or before starting work, at the same time every day, so we can establish a good habit. The hardest thing about meditation should be just sitting down. After that, it should be very simple. The second thing is that in meditation, we want to do it where it is effortless. It is not an effort of concentration, trying to blank out the mind or any such business, or thinking good thoughts. These have their place, but that's either concentration, which is forcing the mind to be steady, or contemplation, thinking about positive thoughts or God or something like that. This is contemplation. It is not meditation as I am defining it. Meditation is an effortless turning inward, and gradually, because of the practice and our own internal nature, the mind begins to settle down. And as the mind settles down, the body also settles down and becomes more relaxed, gets great rest. So I'm going to instruct you for a few minutes here on the proper way that we're going to meditate for this class. Now, during this little instruction session, there's going to be a time when I'm going to tell you to pause the video because you're going to be meditating for 3 minutes and then 5 minutes just to get the hang of it. So you'll have to pause the video when I tell you. And then make sure you have a small timer. I prefer something without a big ding or whatever. Maybe a small clock that you can peek out at if you're not sure, but better to have something that gives a little bit of an alert, but not harsh, not a big ding or buzz. Put a pillow on something, just enough where it will get your attention, but not to shock you. So I want you all to sit very comfortably. You can sit with your feet on the ground, both feet on the ground together, back straight, but sit comfortably in a chair or wherever. Or you could sit cross-legged. That's fine if that's comfortable for you. Now, your hands are also important. A lot of people do these mudras thinking that their meditation mudras are hand gestures, like putting your thumb and forefinger together and your 3 fingers out. By the way, I'm not sure if all of you know the meaning of that, but what it is the Atman and the Jiva become one, and the 3 gunas, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, or the activities of creation, dissolution, and maintenance are gone. So that's what that means, but that's not what we're doing. What we want to do is sit comfortably, palms up, palms upward, the right hand over the left palm, and just let your hands rest gently on your lap. Just palms up, right hand over the left on the palm, just let it sit gently in your lap. Sit comfortably, breathe naturally and normally. Now I want you all simply to close your eyes. Don't try to do anything, just close your eyes. Sit comfortably. Now slowly open your eyes. That should have been very easy, comfortable. And I'm sure that when you close your eyes and you're sitting comfortably, you notice some beginning forms of relaxing. So this is what we're going to be basically bringing forth, is greater relaxation. Now I would like you to close your eyes again. With eyes closed, hands just gently in your lap, I want you to put your attention on your left leg. Just eyes closed, don't look. Just put your attention, bring your awareness just gently to your left leg. Now, move your attention to the right leg. Eyes closed. Move your attention or your awareness to your right leg. Now, slowly open your eyes. You'll notice that with your eyes closed, you can move your attention from one place to another. When thoughts are not occupying your mind or totally distracting you, you have the ability to actually direct your awareness, direct your consciousness from the left leg to the right leg. Now, thoughts may come in, that's fine. But still you have a measure of control, though I don't like to use that word, but you can move your awareness from one place to another consciously. Now, what we're going to do, when I tell you, we will close the eyes, not yet, and we're going to put our attention on our breathing, not concentration, but just gently put the attention on the inflow of air and the outflow of air. Don't try to do anything special, just your normal breathing. All we're doing is being aware of the air coming in the air going out, and maybe our chest moving slightly, but just gently put it there. You will notice that thoughts will come, and that's fine. It doesn't matter if they're good or bad. We do not pay attention or put our attention on the thoughts. When they're there and we cannot remember to put our attention on our breathing, there's nothing we can do. However, when a thought's energy reduces, which it always does when we are not focusing on it, we can entertain or have another thought. Oh, I'm not putting my attention on my breathing. In which case, you gently, gently bring it back. Not concentration, not hard, just gently. So now I want everyone to close their eyes. But before you do that, I want you to pause the video, not just yet. I'll tell you when. We're going to close your eyes and then gently put your attention on your breathing, the air flowing in and out, and thoughts coming in and out, and then easily coming back to the breathing. Don't worry about good thoughts or bad. Do not continue a thought past it wanting to leave. And as soon as you can remember to put your attention back on the breathing, gently bring it back. Now I want you to pause the video, close your eyes, and gently put your attention on the breathing. Pause the video. Now, I'm hoping that was 3 minutes and you've turned the video back on. It was my mistake. I should have told you to set your little timer for 3 minutes. But hopefully you remembered I said 3 minutes and turn the video back on. So now that the video is back on, I hope you found it easy to do, because if it was difficult, then we're doing something more than we should. Don't worry about how many thoughts you have. It doesn't matter. It's only when we can bring our attention back to the breathing, we do so. If the energy of a thought is such that we cannot think the thought, oh, I need to come back to the breathing, then that's all right. The energy of that thought is dissipating naturally. And when it's dissipated enough, then we can have another thought consciously of, oh, back to the breathing. So it's all right. Emotions, fine. You hear a sound, it's the same as a thought. Don't worry about them. Don't focus your attention on them. Just bring your attention back to the breathing. Now I want you to set your timer for 5 minutes. And I want you now to pause the video, close your eyes, put your attention on the breathing, and just that gentle interchange between thoughts and attention on the breathing for 5 minutes. Pause the video. All right, hopefully 5 minutes is up and you've turned the video back on. Was that easy? It should have been easy to do, sitting comfortably with your hands in your lap, just your attention gently on the breathing. So we're going to do this before each class, and I'll give you a teensy bit of instruction just to remind you. But try to do this in the morning. Pick a time after you've taken a shower and woken up and brushed your teeth or whatever. It just becomes another part of your morning routine. Only 10 minutes. You're going to take 10 minutes out of the 24 hours and 50 minutes of the day for yourself, for your personal betterment. I guarantee you it will pay you great dividends. You'll be more calm in school. Things will be easier to learn. You'll find that life seems to be flowing more smoothly. Yes, there will be bumps, of course, but we'll have more resources to deal with those bumps. And before dinner, because we don't want to meditate on a huge full stomach, before dinner, just go to a quiet place where you're not going to be disturbed. There's not a lot of bright lights. Sit comfortably and meditate for 10 minutes. And then gently open the eyes after 10 minutes, whether it's morning or evening. And get up slowly. Take a minute to come out slowly, and then get up and go about your business. We're going to do this each class. So meditation is like plowing a field before we seed the field and plants are beginning to grow. We're preparing the field. So what we're doing is preparing the body and mind to learn, or preparing the body and mind for activity of the day. This is very important. Now, why should we practice these divine qualities? So we're back on to the divine qualities. So we're going to be improving our character, our behavior from the inside out. Your teachers are going to teach you from the outside in: math, reading, geography, history. This learning is from the outside in. We're going to be improving ourselves from the inside out through things like meditation and what we call right action. Right action in this context are practicing these 26 divine qualities, or 26 good behavioral qualities. Why? We will live more in harmony within ourselves, greater harmony with others and our world. And we reduce our negative karmic burden, or the results of bad actions. We reduce them. We strengthen our mental, emotional, and physical bodies because we're giving them a break. We're letting them rest, recover, and gather that energy from within, which is the source of all life energy. It is within us. And we'll find that we have less tension and that we have less wasted energy in life, and we're able to direct it more purposefully. We talked about earlier that in addition to the 26 divine qualities, there are also demonic qualities within the human character. Divine qualities lead to freedom, happiness, or liberation, moksha people call it. Demonic qualities, or evil, lead to greater suffering and bondage. When I say bondage, I don't mean physically necessarily tying you up, but tying your mind, your heart, your emotions to negative things that bring suffering to yourself, to others, and to your world. Now, it is, I think, appropriate to at least understand what these demonic qualities are, as well as the 26 divine qualities, so that you can be on guard against them and recognize them when they do arise, because they will. Lust, hypocrisy, pride, arrogance, anger, and cruelty. These are just some of them. These thoughts lead us astray and lead us into actions that bring about negative results for ourselves and others. And they enmesh us in a delusion of unreality, of pain and suffering. And we descend into the murkiest hell of the mind when we are ruled by these types of emotions and character. So the Gita represents a roadmap to eliminate suffering in life and for humans to reach their highest potential, liberation, awakening, or realization of our divine nature, as well as being able to perform our proper duties in life. As Krishna talked to Arjuna on the battlefield, he said, look, Yours is not to worry about the outcome of the battle. Yours is to do your duty. You are a warrior, but you must do it without being attached to the outcome, win or lose. Just do your duty. So the cultivation of these 26 divine qualities lead to greater harmony in life, both inner and outer, reducing the negative effects of wrong action, or we could say bad karma. And it frees us from suffering mentally and emotionally. Because suffering is a mental process. Pain is physical, but suffering is mental. We cause ourselves to suffer. The outside world doesn't do us. It doesn't get us suffering. Nobody pours a pint of suffering down our throat. We generate it ourselves from wrong thoughts, actions, wrong expectations, attachments that are not fulfilled. Be free from these things and be free from suffering. Now, fearlessness is the first of the 26 divine qualities. We are not going to go through that today. In our next session, we will start off with the 26 divine qualities, starting with fearlessness. We will do a short little meditation first, followed by, we'll cover at least 2 or 3 of the divine qualities in each session. More if we can get them in, if there's time, but it doesn't matter how many classes it takes. It matters that we truly understand them, we internalize them, and we are able to practice them in life, not just as intellectual concepts, but these should be character traits that govern our actions, our behavior. It is in this way, by practicing these, in other words, living consciously, not out of instinct. Animals do that, but we are much better than that. But living consciously and also doing meditation and other spiritual practices if we are given them by a qualified teacher. So we will end this class today. I hope that this was a good introduction to the class and the 26 divine qualities as put forth in the Bhagavad Gita. So that's it for today. All of you take care, be kind to each other, and may God bless all of you.